Hello, it's Phil Thatch, and I am here at the Tennessee Aquarium. I'm going to walk through the Tennessee Aquarium using only one lens. I'm going to be using the Canon RF 100mm macro lens. And also, I didn't even know this was a thing, but outside of the aquarium is the Four Bridges Arts Festival going on. So there's some street photography opportunities out here, and I may do some of that, but I've only brought one lens, just the 100mm macro, so this is going to be interesting. I wandered around outside the aquarium for just a few minutes and did some street photography before we went in, and this is the only street photography shot that I got that I liked, and this is a cookie booth. They were selling cookies, and this family was asking questions about the cookies, and the little girl in the center of the shot intently listening to the cookie descriptions I thought was worth sharing. Well, we are finally in the aquarium now, going up the escalator to head to the butterflies and the lemurs, and the aquarium is really busy. So we might do street photography in the aquarium. Who knows? Well, the 100mm macro lens was not the best lens to photograph lemurs, so I didn't get any lemur photographs, but I did enjoy photographing the orchid garden that they have there on the top floor. And my buddy Ray Soldano came along with us, and he made this photograph kind of a behind-the-scenes photograph of me as I was photographing the orchid garden, and this is the result of that photograph that I was working on when Ray made that photograph. I focused on the middle area with the red dots on the yellow background. Here is one more photograph of some sort of beautiful flower that was growing near the orchid garden that's on the top floor of the Tennessee Aquarium Ocean Journey building. Butterfly garden was awesome as usual, and it was fun to use a different lens in there this time. So let's take a look at the butterfly garden pictures. Overall, I would say that the butterflies are more difficult to photograph with the 100mm macro lens than they were with the 100 to 500 lens, or the 100 to 500 with the teleconverter. I think is the best butterfly combination. But when you find a butterfly that will let you get close enough to make a good photo with the macro lens, they come out really nice. Now, this butterfly was pretty active during the shot, and as you can see at f5.6, there's not a whole lot of depth of field. Certain things are very in focus and certain things are way out. This young man had a butterfly land right on his face, and I said, "Hey, can I make you famous?" And he nodded his head, so I made this photograph of him right here with the butterfly on his face at the butterfly garden. Some other folks at the butterfly garden pointed this one out to me. It was very low, right down by the floor, but it was stationary, so I had plenty of time to get really close and make this shot. I made lots of photographs of the flowers that were growing in the butterfly garden. Beautiful flowers, and it was fun to photograph them with the macro lens. And on this one, I got an ant in focus in the shot as well. Here's another one of the butterflies that was stationary long enough for me to get a good shot, and I thought it was interesting how wrinkled up its wings were. Maybe it had just come out of its cocoon. Here's another flower photograph. Lots of interesting and beautiful colors in this one, and I did really enjoy. There's lots of flowers in the butterfly garden area. This next one is probably my favorite shot of the whole day. I just love, maybe my second favorite, I just love the beautiful red colors and the purples and greens coming out from them. This is a more up close shot of that very same flower that I made at f11 using the RF 100mm Canon macro lens. And now we're heading down the escalator to take a look at the penguins. Here is the room of penguins. A lot of fun, and it's cooler in here, which is nice. Okay, we've been making our way down through the Ocean Journey building, and of course we love the jellyfish, so we made a number of photos of them, and I've been doing some videos too that work really well with the 100mm macro. And this tank right here behind me is one of our favorites to photograph because it has brightly colored fish and really bright lights. So let's look at some photographs and videos from these parts of the aquarium. I said earlier that the flower photo was my second favorite of the day, and that's because this one right here is my favorite. This amazing looking gecko that I was able to get pretty sharp even through the thick glass that they have on all the enclosures there at the Tennessee Aquarium. Here is another through the glass shot of a clownfish as it was swimming around. This tank was really nice, and they had lots of clownfish, and the kids loved it because they were looking for Nemo. And here is a pufferfish, a very small pufferfish that came pretty close to the glass and was looking right at me and has some sort of fungus or something on its eyes, and it was neat to get this shot with the macro lens. Heather liked the bokeh in the background of this slow motion clip. I recorded at 60 frames per second and I played it back at 40% speed on a 24 frames per second timeline of this interesting looking creature that was in one of the smaller tanks. This next shot is the only shot from the big tank. It's a shark as it's swimming by, and the 100mm macro lens did a nice job capturing a sharp shot of its beautiful eye. We really love the jellyfish area there at the Tennessee Aquarium, and I think this is a moon jellyfish, maybe, in slow motion. And this next one is my favorite jellyfish in the aquarium. This is a Pacific sea nettle, I think is what it's actually called. Beautiful colors, and I got this clip and I present it to you in slow motion, but the next couple of clips are going to be at normal speed. It moves pretty slow even at normal speed, and I love the lights that they have in this particular tank because you can really see the sea nettle brightly with kind of a dark background, and just really interesting to watch these as they swim around. You can stand there and just be fascinated for quite a while. It's always one of the more popular areas of the Tennessee Aquarium, this one particular tank with the Pacific sea nettles with their beautiful colors and beautiful motion swimming around there at the Tennessee Aquarium Ocean Journey building. Here's a few more clips of some of the other tanks, tropical fish swimming around. These are at slow motion. The fish swim so quickly you really can't even observe them hardly at normal speed, but in slow motion they seem to be swimming at normal speed, but really this is 40% speed. And here is one more look in the tank that had all the clownfish, which, as I mentioned before, was very popular with the children. It took me a while to get a shot. And now we are under the big tank, which is really cool. There's windows and caverns all above us and beside us to look around inside the big tank. For example, right here behind me is a window into the big tank. That's one of the bigger ones. And then look at this. You're not gonna believe where Heather is. Say hi, Heather.
Hi.
Heather has found a spot here in the Ocean Journey building. And now we're gonna head to River Journey. Well, I've been on this escalator for a long time and I have a long way to go. Welcome to the River Journey building. When you get to the top of that huge escalator, there's a beautiful view of the John Ross Market Street Bridge there in downtown Chattanooga as it goes across the Tennessee River, and I had the 100mm lens and it just was not the right focal length to make this shot. So I'm sharing my buddy Ray Soldano's shot that he made with his Nikon D850. Make sure and check him out on Facebook at Ray Soldano Photography. I didn't make any photographs of the river otters there in the top area of the Tennessee Aquarium, but I did like the light on Heather as she was standing in this corridor, so I made this photograph. The 100mm macro lens is not too shabby for portraits. Now we're going into an area called Discovery Hall. I put the lens hood of the 100mm macro right against the glass when I made this photograph of this turtle in one of the smaller enclosures there at the Tennessee Aquarium. Lots of glare on it. I should have brought a polarizer. Here's a photograph of Heather as she's leaning into a tank where you can pet a sturgeon as it swims by. She enjoyed that and I enjoyed making the photograph. All right, now we are entering the Delta Country exhibit, which is where the alligators are. Gators. This is the area where the ducks are. There's a male and a female wood duck and a female hooded merganser in there. And I was able to get up over the glass and make some photos of them. Here she is. She's standing on a log and she had just dipped her bill into the water to take a drink, and now she's leaning her head back as I make this 1/200th of a second f2.8 shot of the beautiful female hooded merganser at the Tennessee Aquarium. Look at all those gators over there. They're doing some sort of pile up sort of a thing. This is the Rivers of the World area, which has a lot of small tanks. Heather found this Vietnamese mossy frog. What an awesome and interesting looking creature it is. And it was in a tank, and I was able to get the lens right up against the glass and make this photograph. And I started out at f2.8 because it wasn't a lot of light. As you can see, I'm 4000 ISO at 1/60th, but there wasn't enough depth of field, so I was going to stop it down to 5.6 and make another shot, but some youngsters came up and banged on the glass and the frog left the area where I could make a shot. So the 2.8 shot is what you get to see today. I don't know how many exhibits they have in the Tennessee Aquarium total, but it's a lot. Always like this Reelfoot Lake exhibit because it's full of crappie, which are kind of famously interesting fish that you can find in the Tennessee River. Hello, crappie. Big ones and small ones. Here's a normal speed clip of one of the larger crappie that was in the Reelfoot Lake tank, and this is a 40% speed clip of one of the younger and smaller crappie swimming around there in that tank. Now over at the big tank, the 135,000 gallon tank is a paddlefish, and they are really interesting because they are filter feeders, and here is the paddlefish swimming around the tank trying to feed. Well, we had a really good time today at the Tennessee Aquarium. I thought the 100mm macro lens did really good here. I was worried I was going to be missing my 100 to 500, but I really didn't, except for maybe in the lemur enclosure. The 100 to 500 would have done better, but it really worked out well using the 100mm macro, and hopefully you enjoyed the content. If so, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye from the Tennessee Aquarium, downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee.